Hello everybody. How are we all doing? You're surviving in this heat, if it's warm where you are. This is very warm where I am. I'm Loomis and we're back to Pyre. And I think we were closing in on our 4th liberation rite, having recently suffered our first loss in the rites. It was admittedly because I was greeding for gold, but still. Let me see. Oh, we've done our 4th. We sent a little knight home. This is our 5th liberation rite? I think we were about to go do the riot battle, but maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a little while. The last few weeks have been pretty rough. Doing life things. I'm sure you guys know how it is. I've had a bit of heat stroke the last couple of days. I spent most of it in bed. Not great times. Oh no, there's Sir Gilman. That's who I was going to send home. So I guess I haven't sent him home. So this is our 4th. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Not as stupid as I thought. Just barely. Okay. So yeah, I want to try and send Sir Gilman to safety. I think he's earned it. I think they could use his sense of justice. Alright. We'll do a practice rite, because I don't want to go, because it's been a while and I don't want to go into the liberation rite not remembering the controls. So Gilman will lead. They will be second. Do I want my next to be Tizo or Amethyst? I'll swoop. I might like to practice that new ability. Cool. Jump in there. Start. I accidentally threw it instead of doing the aura burst. Oh, I got stuck on the writing. Hoop. Hoop. Keep jumping. we go, Sigilman. Okay, yeah, so that's how that works. That seems pretty good. I thought it said she instantly returns after dousing the fire. She wasn't there when it... It did the extra damage, but it didn't bring her back. Anticipating, certainly persistent reader. Is she not talking to me because I've not been challenged her to enough practice rights and she's bored? Maybe I'll start facing off with her more often. Alright, for now I guess we move on. Yeah, I want to check what that ability, what that item does, because it didn't seem like it was doing the thing it was supposed to do. Oh, may instantly return. It's not guaranteed that she'll get an extra go, but it always does the extra damage. Alright then. Man, we've just been all the way south. Once more we sail above the fall of Salia. The temple to the 8 scribes awaits us at the summit. None have seen the temple, save for those worthy to conduct the rites there. And myself and my counterpart Celeste. You may then wonder whence it came. The cycle of rites has turned since the beginning of this age. Over its course, whilst waiting for the cycle's turns, some exiles thus paid tribute to the 8 scribes. I think the scribes may not have wanted such extravagance, or they carved effigies to them along the way. Yet it is for the triumvirate to decide how best to honor the rites. They chose to honor them as you see here. How you remember this, of course, if you even wish to do so, that is yours to decide. The scribes would not want otherwise. Okay. So our choices of landing site. So Gilman shall gain favor here. Tizo shall gain favor here. Well, Gilman's probably going to be our candidate. You make landing upon Mount Elodiel, where Volford pulls you aside while the others complete the post-flight inspection. He puffs at his pipe before speaking up. Reader, as you know, I now wear the raiments once again. This means that I myself may soon be ready to regain my freedom in the eyes of the 8 scribes. No, however, but it is not my wish to go just yet. It is true, I could be of some benefit to our plan back in the Commonwealth, but I feel my place is here for the time being. Perhaps once the Nightwings run a surer footing in their path, my time shall come. Those are my feelings on the matter, and I wanted you to know. I shall of course defer to you. Our path does not contradict the reader's will. Anyway, I trust that all of you, that all of us, yourself included, shall find our freedom. If not soon, then by when all of this is over. I wanted to, I came in here for a reason. But nowhere to be found, slithering in circles, humming softly. Oh, the journal. I still haven't figured this out. The withdrawn, the defilers is who we face. He said he'd made a list of who would contribute the most if they were to be liberated. Like, I don't particularly plan to listen to him, but I was curious. Yet I don't see it. So this should show who would help the plan by the greatest percentage. Having completed the post-flight inspection, you and Sir Gilman visit the monument of Trieste Tithys here in Emperor's Ascent. Blessed Vaughn. It seems that this night's test of honor is just beginning to begin. He's to understand the stars themselves are vanishing. Impossible, he says. For how can there be such a thing as honor in this world if the stars themselves are wont to leave this world behind? Soon he has finished paying his respects. You return into the wagon in silence, feeling as though Trieste Tithys has shown you favor. You shall soon ascend the mountain, though there is time now to pursue your vocations. Some quickness for the next rite. Nice. Ooh, a conversation. Sir Gilman is fuming in anger over something, so much so that you are hesitant to approach him, but you approach him nonetheless. Exile is too light a sentence for this night! He notices you then and seizes up. He begins acting rather nonchalant, as though his outburst did not just transpire. Oh, greetings to you, noble Master Reader! What brings you to this night this afternoon? Attempting to make small talk. Maintain a gentle tone with him, and ask if there is something he might wish to discuss. Sir Gilman, perhaps, could benefit from talking through his woes. He stands there for a time, silent and dejected, but then... Master Reader, this knight cannot escape the horrors of his past. It seems that you would hear them. Then you have this knight's apologies ahead of time for burdening you further with his troubles. Having said that, here, then, are the troubles you requested. You are, of course, familiar with the siege of the Spiral Sanctum. For this night, the memory of it is like a wound which will not close. This night stood there on the front lines whilst the hireling remnants descended upon us. So furious was their assault that our chain of command was ruptured instantly. We of the Sea Dominion, we require orders to perform our duty. Without such orders, why, we surely made a very easy target there that eve. One by one, then two by two, they picked us off, becoming bolder, some of them, shrieking with laughter all the while. This night, he saw his comrades cast aside like sea flies. How this knight survived, he does not know for certain, even now. Perhaps it was that he attempted to pursue and to detain his own knight commander, whom you met when you first met this knight. That cursed Sir Deluge. If not for his craven cowardice, the Spiral Sanctum, he might have held at least a while longer. But instead we were routed, rendered spineless both in form and in deed. Sir Deluge was the first to turn and flee, as our chain of command crumbled. And as for this knight, he failed to catch his knight commander. He must have looked a coward too. Thus came the time for penance, and this knight, why, he insisted on the only course of action reasonable. He insisted on the sentence to the downside. And as you can plainly see, his wish was then fulfilled. How absurd that he should re-encounter his old knight commander here soon after. Thus did this knight become obliged once more to Sir Deluge. We took to the waters in the Sea of Solace, where soon we met the Pyre hearts, a triumvirate exclusive to our kind. It was plain to see that they lacked wherewithal, and Sir Deluge they thought he could provide it. It was the leadership they sought, and his was too much of a coward to decline. As for this knight, being of the Sea Dominion, he had little choice but to comply, or so at first he thought. And this night, when he encountered you and the Nightwings, something awakened within him. With so little honor left to lose and so much left to gain, it became eminently clear that this knight stood a better chance within your ranks than those of Sir Deluge. And there is little left to say. This knight cannot escape his past, and yet he chooses to believe he was spared that day, not merely by coincidence. Perhaps under King Urs yet has plans in store, in which this knight may play a part. This knight, he clings, however vainly, to that hope. He slithers away, his head bowed low. Seems best to leave him be for now. You sense he feels relieved at having shared all this. Alright, let's forage. Divine properties, a potent serum. Something Falcon Run values here. We'll get stuff that we can sell and then we can upgrade things. Gold Elodiel. Vertrude shall gain favor here, Pamitha shall gain favor here. I'm more likely to use Pamitha than Vertrude, so we'll go the Temple Cistern way. En route to the mountaintop, you pass by a monument under King Urs, and Pamitha happens to take notice. I like this. Sir Gilman prayed to the birdfolk scribe, and Pamitha is praying to the serpent folk scribe. The worm scribe. I have to hand it to you, Pamitha. You have a real gift for getting yourselves into one bad situation after another. Now here you are, praying to the dead to bring the stars back, is that it? Maybe you'll get out of here this time. Things might be even worse back home. Soon she is finished paying her respects. As you prepare to continue your ascent, you sense that under King Urs has shown her favor. +3 glory. Nice. You and your fellow exiles gather at the foot of Scribe's Gate, before an archway carved of stone, where stands the Gate Guardian. Greetings to you, Celeste. I see the exiles of the Nightwings have returned, even as the cycle of the rites begins drawing to a close. The Nightwings accept this as the will of the scribes. The Gate Guardian laughs at this, softly, for some reason. And you, Tariq, do you accept their will as well? For the lone minstrel does not answer her. It is no matter. Now, Nightwings, each of you come forth and state what it is that you seek, whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. One by one, the Nightwings declare themselves. You all pass through as before. When Volford takes his turn, Celeste stops him. You, I see that you wear the raiments once again. Explain. The cycle of the rites is ending. While I do not know exactly why, I have my fears. One of my contemporaries, he who fell from the summit long ago, he lives and seeks his liberty again. He stands against us now, and believes his triumvirate to be the true Nightwings. I remember well the contemporary whom you mean. Then the Nightwings stand divided. Yes, and so I wear the raiments once again, in case that it might help to right this wrong. For I am Valfred Sandalwood, and I seek liberty for each of us, so that one day we all might stand shoulder to shoulder on the other side, and bring our freedom to the people there. She considers Valfred's words for a moment. I see. Then move along. The guardian of Scribesgate regards you all, and then she beckons you onward. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. Celeste? What is it, Tariq? The will of the scribes. Long have we both followed it, I think you would agree. In equal measure has it drawn us close as separated us. But if their aim now is to keep us apart for another age or longer, then... No, I do not accept their will. You blaspheme, Tariq. And at the gate, no less. The lone minstrel simply puts his hat back on. And may the scribes themselves admonish me. Until tomorrow night, Celeste. Having reached the peak of Mount Elodiel again, you see the vastness of the Downsag all around you. It leaves you deep in thought regarding which of your companions ought to go free this night, as Headwind did the last time. New stuff. Yes, Gilman's biography. Valfred looks up as you approach and smiles. I never thought I would say such things, my kin, but it is good to wear the raiments and the rites once more. The march of time does have a way of healing certain hurts. Besides, the Nightwings of today, they are a very different beast than the Triumvirate, which took me in almost a decade ago. Ours was a triumvirate of exactly 3. Well, 4. Tizo proved to be an exception. Though historically, the Nightwings never took on more exiles than needed. I have mentioned my predecessor, Brighton, my former companions, Arisa and Aralek. Perhaps naively, I'd hoped my time with them would not be relevant directly to what we now attempt. Seeing as our stories are now intertwined, do let me know if there is more you wish to learn of them. To ask about all of these, but I suppose Aralek is the most relevant. You ask about what Aralek was like when he and Valfred first became acquainted. Valfred remained silent for some time. I was very, very sick, you know, when I first landed in the Downside. The long trip down the river must have been a little much for me. It was Aralek who found me. He could not have known of my capacity to read before he revived me. He was a physician, intolerant of the sight of suffering of any kind. Not just any physician, mind you. A gifted, highly decorated one. He served on the front. Back then, skirmishes erupted frequently, and those such as Aralek, they had to deal with many casualties on either side. In time, he said he grew repulsed by what he saw. This sowed in his heart a yearning for an end to all the bloodshed. so he tried to use his status to negotiate a treaty with the Highwing remnants. It must have gone about how you'd expect. He was given direct orders to return to the front. But when he refused to soil his hands again, they cast him to the downside. Here he gained the notice of the Nightwings. Before long, he grew to be one of the finest rites conductors anyone had ever seen. He was instrumental in the liberation of his companions, whose roles in the Triumvirate were later filled by Arisa and me. In time, Aralek's own opportunity for freedom had come up. He had longed for it. Oops, I accidentally skipped that. He had longed for it so. However, on the evening of his liberation, well, you know the story from that point. Alfred breathes a heavy sigh. He and I were kindred spirits for a while. I could not bear to think that he was gone. And now, I still cannot entirely believe that he is back. He was our adversary now, transformed, grown cold. Still, part of me is happy that he lives. Make no mistake, of course, I shall not be swayed against our plan. Not by Aralek or anyone, as I have said before, we share a higher calling now. As for Aralek, he wants his freedom still, although I wonder if he still remembers why. Anyway, was there something else, my kin? You ask about Arisa, who you understand betrayed Aralek at the moment of his liberation, then perished in the Shimmerfall. I'm afraid you know the brunt of it, my kin, but I suppose you ought to know something of Arisa's past, lest you be quick to judge her solely by her actions. Mind you, I would never make excuses for the terrible choice she ultimately made, but her life, I understand, was very difficult. Arisa had been exiled for the foulest of acts. You could see it plainly on her face. Such was the heinousness of what she did in the eyes of the Commonwealth. She was an apprentice blacksmith in her youth, taking up the post left by her brother. He had fallen in battle on the Blood Border, despite wielding their father's own lance and armor. Her father never quite recovered after this, and had grown cruel and detached. It was Arisa who took the brunt of his fury. He expected the impossible of her. One day, it was all too much for her. So when next he lashed out at her, she struck back. She struck back again and again and again. When they came for her, her father was gone and she was not herself. She was promptly cast into the downside for the crime, where her hatred for the Commonwealth only grew. Arisa was intense in her demeanor, haunted by her father's memory. More than that, the chief motive for wanting back her freedom was, in hindsight, not a healthy one. She longed to join our nation's enemies, to build for the Highwing remnants a great siege engine that could shatter the defenses of the Commonwealth, and forever end our feud. What she ultimately did to Aralek was an act of pure and thoughtless desperation. I do not think that it was simply evil, nor do I think that it was personal. I often wondered, though, if, in her final moments in the Shimmerfall, she understood what she had done, and the depths to which she had fallen. For years, I must admit I hated her, but now, my only hope is that she found a peace untenable during her relatively short life in the downside in the Commonwealth. Furthermore, I hope the life of Arisa offers some perspective yet to those of us who have not made the same mistakes. Now then, is there something else? You inquire about Brighton, who your son was liberated prior to when Volfred first joined the Nightwings. I never met Brighton in person, but I know him rather well by now, though for that matter, my kin, so do you. He studies your reaction for a moment, then. Brighton was born wealthy, but not special otherwise. You would have no reason to have heard of him. He was exiled for negligent misconduct. I do not know exactly why, and do not care for spreading rumors. I first heard of him through Arisa and Aralek, who found in me a suitable replacement following his liberation. They spoke little of him. Aralek gave the impression they did not see eye to eye. He assured me I would soon hear from him myself. Indeed, as I became accustomed to the book, which you know well by now, I soon began to hear the voice. Valfred looks at you, to see if you yet take his meaning. You see, my kin, after Brighton's liberation, he assumed a new identity within the Commonwealth, and a new responsibility to the triumvirate which liberated him. That voice you hear from time to time, wheresoever the stars align, it's his. He is no longer Brighton. He is now none other than the Archjustice Androboles IX himself, the Grand Judge and figurehead under whose watch the Commonwealth is governed in this day. Liberated exiles retain certain burdens to their old triumvirates. They have much to thank them for. Not just their freedom, but their exalted status in the Commonwealth. Theocratic rulers of the Commonwealth. They do not wear masks and raiment simply for the sake of ceremony. They are not who they appear to be. Their public pasts are nothing but a fabrication. Like Brighton, they once were exiles too. Brighton, that voice. He has no love for either one of us by now. He knows full well what we attempt to do. Yet he is bound by the traditions of the rites. He shall always stand on ceremony and complain, but I think he knows deep down that he is powerless. How ironic that one of such high status in the Commonwealth should be so frightened of some long-forgotten exiles such as we. Anyway, that's Brighton for you. He must have seen in you the potential to be one of his staunch supporters for a time. If that's a path he wanted to pursue, I should apologize. Now then, whom else should we talk about? You bid Valfred a good afternoon, and leave him with his memories. My pleasure, leader. Reflecting on the past from time to time helps demonstrate how far we've come, and how much farther we have yet to go. Okay, let's head to the Slig Market. Hey guys, so I don't know what's going on up there with all them stars acting real weird and stuff, but let me tell you something here. You ain't gonna find a better deal on this stuff from anybody. I mean anybody on the downside. You can trust me when I tell you that, so go ahead, stock up. Black Cat and the Downberry and the Bite and the Gold Elodial. You can buy these upgrade powders. We've actually cleared him out of his powders, interesting. Whoa, permanently gain 1 hope? Not just for the next ride? How much? 76? Ah, I'm 3 gold short. I don't know. Take it. I'm probably gonna give it to Bay. Five damage and has a good chance of instantly returning. I don't actually have that much left to upgrade. I don't think it's worth spending on that. Let's get this to maximum. Tizo has infinite stamina now. Appreciate you guys doing business, and be sure to tell your friends, okay? How to sustain oneself with food and drink in a place such as this. The less said of it, the better. Do not complain, observe, and above all, keep moving. Sources of sustenance avail themselves to those with keener sense. In warmer climates, search the ground at the break of day for subterraneans. In colder places, dig for them, give them purpose. Drinking pools are rare, but moisture in abundance outside of the sandfolds. Some is poisonous. Take only what you need. The downside limits any opportunity for excess, but it provides enough amenities to meet the needs of life. One who withstands it cannot help but feel a sense of gratitude. A liberation night. Once more you have gained the fall of Solium, where one among you may go free. But first you'll have to prevail against the withdrawn in the liberation rite. Leader, your companions are gathered there under the fall. They shall be counting on you. Indeed. The cycle of the rites turns ever faster. So too is our plans set in motion. My agents in the Commonwealth are beginning to cause a bit of a stir out there, and word has reached high places that the rites are ending. This is our chance. Though let us not despair should victory elude us here. We shall make the most of whatever the scribes may have in store for us. That is to say, good luck, my kin. It's time. Yeah, I'm definitely not gambling any Titan stars on a liberation rite.
Once more, the Nightwings gain the summit of the sacred Mount Aladiel to conduct the
I've
liberation.
been saying it wrong all this time.
Even as the stars themselves abandon you. Make good upon these final opportunities, reader. This glorious age-old tradition coming to an end upon your watch. I trust your adversaries, the withdrawn, shall not throw away this chance. Choose now who may go free, should they unfortunately fail.
The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. I concur. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. Then, anointed one of the withdrawn, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwings. The bog dweller Udmild appears from the shadows and reaches for her mask. We are known to be the witch Udmild. Our adversaries, they are nothing to us or the ones we serve. Ye all shall be devoured in the coming age, an age of strife wrought down by the fell wings, and many seeing eyes of Islak, the Astral-born. You speak blasphemy upon this sacred site, Udmild. If you value your liberties, then I suggest you cease your mocking of the scribes. The scribes, they failed to stop Islak, and ye shall rise again. As for ye Nightwings, you have no consequence in Islak's grand design. She dons her mask once more. Soon we shall turn unto the land which Islak shall usurp. We shall offer him our blood and that of many, many others. Nightwings, your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct the liberation rite? Reader, I would ask you choose wisely, but I am sure you know no other way. And you, prepare your tongue, Tevik. Of course, Celeste.
Whom do you intend to liberate? Sir Gilman.
Has this knight at last regained his honor? Let us now find out.
Who shall lend him support? Bay.
The scribes are watching over us, especially you, Mr. Gilman.
Kanatha.
Sure. Let's get him out of here then.
The choice is cast.
Soon, Islak. Very soon we shall really see. We shall really see. As for ye, Nightwings, we have much in store for ye.
Commence.
First blood. I didn't check what the enemy's abilities are, that would have been smart of me. Whoop. Whoop. Didn't manage to jump. Whoop. Get in there. Ah, unfortunate. There we go. Uh-oh. First blood. Islak, we invoke thee. We seek thy ancient strength. Befoul our enemies within thy blood. Damnation to the Nightwings. Damnation to the scribes. The invocation of Islak. Your adversary Witchwood Mill's curse summons forth dark pools of banishing ichor. Wheresoever any exile is banished here this night. But I can make the jump before they caught up with us.
Unacceptable. Another banishment. Banished all of them.
There we go.
And there it is, at last.
It was surprisingly easy.
The Nightwings proved their worth. Rather convincingly, I must admit. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus, the scribes have chosen the exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free. Absolved of all misdeeds, return to glory in the Commonwealth. His adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
Know that this affront against Islak has been recorded, and his vengeance shall darken the skies. Sir Gilman stares at nothing in particular. You sense he is still taking in what has transpired, what it means for him. So then, this knight, he is to be free? He is to be free? Nay, but that would mean... Why, that would mean his honor is restored. One cannot go back into our commonwealth by any other means. This knight's exile was self-wrought, his disgrace profound, but he has been atoned under the eyes of the Underking and those of his noble comrades. He begins to grow very emotional, and then... This knight loves you all! He loves you all, that you would strive for him, and let him join your noble quest. This knight does not feel as though he is deserving of this outcome, and yet the result appears inarguable. Even now this knight is drawn into the shimmer pool. Our time grows brief. Therefore, know this, beloved friends. This knight shall ever strive on your behalf there in the Commonwealth. Though his honor may have been restored, his true journey only now begins. And so, good friends of the Nightwings, this knight must now bid you farewell. However, the bonds we form together shan't be broken by mere distance, nay. Strive on, good friends, strive on! And still here, Sir Gilman, as he vanishes into the shimmer pool. If this knight could have achieved such glory, lowly though he is, surely can you all. For now, farewell. Farewell! May he return in glory.
Godspeed, Sir Gilman. The 8 scribes are watching from afar. By their grace, may the cycle of the rites keep turning for as long as possible.
Good a time as any to say thanks for having me along on this strange little journey of yours, Rita, darling. Let's see. The vanishing was faster than normal or burst. +4 to all stats. I'm just gonna take that one. Can't really go wrong with it.
Until the turning of the stars, farewell.
You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the withdrawn in the liberation rite. I had a good feeling that this would happen. At least someone got out of here. You succeeded in liberating Sir Gilman, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. We have but a few such liberation rites remaining. Exactly how many I do not wish to speculate about as yet, until such time as we can better say for certain. Under no circumstances would I suggest this is ideal. However, it is opportunity enough that our plan may as yet succeed. 71%, not bad. Although, all of these setbacks, I fear. Falford trails off and falls silent. Some of the others exchange looks. They are beginning to understand. With the rite soon ending, everything which Volford has sought, both on his own for many years, and now with all of you, all of it may have been in vain. The hush spreads to the others, but not to you. You then proceed to do something that none of them seem to expect. You raise your voice. Each of your exiles turns to you, The expression is asking you a question with no easy answer. What are we going to do? As you meet Bay's gaze, the words for the occasion begin to crystallize in your mind. You're searching to find the right words, as all of your exiles are looking to you now. Consider what to say, or consider a different angle on this. Having reached this turning point in your journey, as all your fellow exiles are looking to you now, tell them you have stood together time after time throughout this quest, now poised to seek upon a glorious opportunity. Only a hollow fool will turn back now. I'm not going to mince words because each of you knows each other well. Service to the group. From this far to the downside, through which many challenges you have faced. I'm going to mince words because each of you knows each other well. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I care about the people, not the mission. None of you pursue the quest with any guarantees. Clear than all of you. As the freedom still is laid bare before you all, true freedom is not waiting in the Commonwealth, but with each other. While the stars are shining on for you, all of what transpired cannot be mere chance. You now have a divine duty to uphold. The Commonwealth is already in upheaval. There you have unfinished business to conduct, to resist the forces that would question. We're only beginning. The injustices on the other side cannot continue. Now is the time. Stand and fight the forces that oppose you for your own sake, for those who live oppressed. Those who do not fight do not prevail. Live with purpose for each other, for all those who shall live on. It's a world worth living. You all stand poised to ensure that the world you leave behind for your loved ones, for each other, is a world worth living in. You can believe in any of this, and believe above all in each other, and the plan may yet succeed. Yet prevail together. If you can believe any of this, then believe above all in each other. Trust that you may yet prevail together. After a brief period of reflection, you share one last sentiment with the group, and to stand together, now and always. Mere distance cannot separate our spirits, and you join the others in silence. Thus do you remain together with your thoughts. No one speaks for a time, but then... You truly believe that your Commonwealth can change its ways, then, Rita, darling? I those that I may yet come to believe too. Thou wouldst dare to change this ancient world, reading one, and yet thy words are tinged with certain truths. Tizo vows to stand with you, no matter where your quest may lead. May long the stars remain a light for you, reader. All the while, Valfrid remains watching you intently, and his expression softens and he smiles. You are right, of course, my kin. We are the Nightwings. It is precisely as you said. Mere distance cannot separate our spirits. Lead us then, reader, to the end of our quest and the dawn of the new age for all our kin. Everyone, for the Nightwings! Everyone responds in kind. They stand with you no matter what. They await the outcome of your vision of the stars, which burn with renewed fury, because now the last rites beckon. To the Nightwings gained +1 hope, permanently. Mere distance cannot separate our spirits. The stars above now burn with what appears to be a desperate fury, many more of them than usual. The path is yours to choose amid a myriad of stars. Oh. Are they all lit? Is there to be no time between seasons, then? We do not rest, but begin the next set of trials immediately? The stars of the 8 scribes, they shine together now as one. The lone minstrel draws breath, as though surprised by what he sees. He backs away and averts his eyes. This is another sign that the rites are soon to cease. Few chances yet remain to confront the adversaries we have met during your journey. The accusers. The essence. Tempers. Withdrawn. Chastity. Fate. I cannot visit the Glade of Blue. I'm inclined to meet the Fate just because they're nice. I feel like they deserve the chance to meet with the Nightwings. If there's anybody that we want to send home out of the other groups, it's these guys. So we'll meet them and give them that chance to triumph. Very well then, reader. Once more you shall face Dalbertons of fate, where next the stars align. You may set course for the nest of Trieste at dawn. For now, please get some rest in the remaining dark of night. Following the successful outcome of the liberation rite, you find Bertrude muttering something to herself. You hear some of the words as you approach. Shouldst thou seekest darkness, then may nightfall come to thee in time. Shouldst thou seekest courage, then may bravery soon bloom within thy heart. Shouldst thou seekest water, may the oceans open wide for thee. Shouldst thou seekest fortune, then you recognize it as the Bog Benediction. You have never heard it said aloud. An old blessing of goodwill from the southern bogs, never uttered there in modern times. And Bertrude sees you there and cuts short the chant. Care thee to explain thy presence, reading one? You are amidst an invocation, which must now begin anew. 'Tis for the Worm Knight, if thou needest know, to speed him on his homeward journey. The Worm Knights are a distant kin. Unlike their ilk, ours have but passing interest in the sea. There within the depths, we have long seen that which is to be seen. Nevertheless, the distant kin is kin. That foolish Worm Knight, surely he could never have survived his years if not for divine aid. Thus we provide him more. Then perhaps the Worm Knight, easily underestimated as he is, perhaps he shall turn out to be of some small benefit as part of Sandalwood's designs. She glares at you intently for a moment. Mistake thee not, these actions for affection, not for a longing for the loudness of this place to escalate ever again to volumes such as only his incessant shouting could achieve. Now leave us, reading one. The invocation must be finished ere the Worm Knight finally arrives upon the shores beyond this land for his homecoming. She turns away from you and begins her chant again. Should thou seekest shelter, may the elements be merciful to thee. Should thou seekest kinship, then may thy kin hold memory of thee. Should thou seekest darkness, you leave her to the benediction. The Worm Knight's absence is already felt. You know, however, that he will strive with all his might on your behalf there on the other side. You're in the Book of Rites. Withdrawn. The Withdrawn did spawn from the wild witch Melith, in whose vigilant pursuit of the unknown and the unknowable I was felt a certain kinship. Whether the Withdrawn were of Melith's kin by blood or merely worshippers, we trusted one another not to ask or care. What mattered was that Melith chose the most audacious minds, who stopped at nothing short of the impossible. Though ever distant, the Withdrawn revealed to us such truths about the land which long lay hidden even to one such as I. Their knowledge ever waking into newfound depths of consciousness, they lead us all to better know ourselves. The fallen empire of Ser was ruled according to an ancient bloodline, thought to be infallible, while society shall instead be by those who earn the privilege. We the Eight, we cannot bear the burden of determining your worth. It shall be determined by your peers, and by you yourself. We shall provide a framing through the rites to put you to the test against yourselves, against your kin, against your adversaries. The downside cannot let us all go free. Thus freedom to the worthy. As the worthy, your true calling then begins, as you return to a society which longs to learn the wisdom you have gained along your path. The worthy shall lead. And those go without delay. My Beyonders do so cherish these exchanges. I'm wondering if the reason she's not talking to us anymore is because we haven't been doing enough practice rites. It's a chance to get out there and do stuff. So let's give it a go. Try and get the hang of some of the people I don't use as much as our ranks shrink. surprisingly good leap. Tizo just has infinite stamina now. Pretty sweet. Oh, she got banished herself. I understand how his, excuse me? Uh-oh. Oh, are they banishing my, my plant as before it can grow? That's what's going on there. Right. So you can't really use it aggressively, it has to be more defensively. There we go. Your vision returns as the effects of the Beyond Crystal dissipate. Time seems to have stood still while you experience the vision. Okay. I'll keep doing extra practice rites and see if that lures more information out of her. Is the thing not spin? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna wrap up there for today then. It was a short stream, but at least we got to play for a bit. We got some done. One more liberation rite down. Pretty soon it won't matter how many are left because we're not gonna have enough people to do the rites. Yeah, making good progress. I'm enjoying it. This might be my favorite game that we're playing at the moment. Anyway, I'm gonna feed the animals and get some food, but I'll be back in 2.5 hours for the Minecraft Monday stream. And there'll be a few of us playing together, having some chill times. I think I might actually do some mining. It's been a long while since I've been underground. Anyway, thanks for watching everybody. Hope I'll see you next time.